That's how you grow a business. And that's how my business grew. Honesty, reliability, and persistence.
Juan Carlos, thank you very much for being on the show. It's truly an honor to have you here.
Well, the true honor is mine because you are a very special person in my life, and I'm really honored to be one of your podcasts.
Thank you very much. And I'm excited for our conversation and our discussion.
I hope so. Let's see what happens.
So, Juan Carlos, you ran for the Doral City Council a couple of years ago.
Yes, in 2022, I ran for seat number 4 for the Doral City Council, in which I got 6,127 votes.
That's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
And this year, you're running again for Doral City Council. Now, my question is...
Another seat, though.
Oh, another seat. What's the seat number?
The seat number 3, okay? The seat is number 3. You see, this Doral City Council is a 5-seat council. There's 4 council people and a mayor. It's not a strong government because the city manager is the one that handles the entire process to manage the city. Not like other cities like Hialeah or the city of Miami, which have a strong mayor. The mayor acts as the administrator as well, not in Doral. In Doral, we legislate 5 people, 1 mayor, 4 city councils, and there's 4 seats, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the mayor seat. Okay, I'm running for seat number 3, which is an open seat that a colleague, an ex-friend of mine, is leaving behind. I ran with him, against him, in 2020.
Wow. And
I got 7,077 votes in that particular election. That was my first election.
So you've ran twice already?
Yes, this will be my 3rd time.
3rd time's the charm.
They say that. But I look at it in a point of view of having gotten experience and getting to know how really the government really works.
For sure.
Okay? To get the really experience and knowledge of what I'm going to face and what I'm going to do for the residents of the city of Doral.
So just to be a little bit clear, the mayor is, let's say, the president, and then there's 4 vice presidents. Would it be something like that?
Yes, you can look at it. Or the commission. It's actually a commission. Okay. The Miami-Dade County mayor has 13 districts, and every district has 1 commissioner. Our commissioner used to be, for this district, which is District 12, used to be the city mayor. And when he ended all his terms, he moved. Juan Carlos Bermudez moved to become our commissioner in this district. So Doral is one of the 5 cities in the District 12. Part of Hialeah is District 12, Sweetwater, some part of the non-incorporated area, Doral, and I believe another city, I think it's Miami Springs.
Okay.
Okay. But it's the legislative government of a city. We have a constitution in the city, which is called the Charter of the City of Doral, which, by the way, in this election, they're trying to amend with 9 questions that are very tricky. So I suggest the people do not vote yes on them. They have to vote no on them.
Wow. Good tip.
Americans have a saying that if it's not broken, why fix it? It's not broken. It's been working like that. Okay. Every time they amend the charter, it's like amending the Constitution. Sometimes it doesn't benefit the people, and we, the people, should know about this. The questions are very tricky, and people have no time to evaluate the consequences later. So you have to be very careful. I suggest that in this election, everybody, because as you have seen, the country is very divided, and we are living in very hard times. The world is on the war. The economy is terrible. So government doesn't start with presidents in the White House. Government starts like the Bible says, Judea, Samaria, and the end of the world. We are Judea. We are Judea. Okay? The local city is more important, is as important as voting for the president. Why? Because those are the people that make the rules and the laws that protect, that protect and benefit the quality of life of the local residents. So it's important.
Do you think someone's trying to divide us?
In what sense?
The country.
Oh, definitely. Immigration, the immigration problem we have is creating a division. America used to be very united, okay? We are a country, like Trump says, we are a country in decline, and we have to recuperate our values, okay? There is an agenda behind this. I don't know the agenda exactly, but obviously, back to the question, if it's not broken, why fix it? Why are they trying to change the law? Why are they trying to doctrinize our children in school? Why are the universities so disastrous? Okay, when people used to come to this country to study and get a master's degree, whatever, Harvard University has become a lefty university. Democracy gives everybody a chance. Communism, you're one. It doesn't there's no such a thing as equality. I mean, people that study more have a higher IQ. They can get better jobs than the people don't like to study. Why should we all become equal?
Yeah. Now you said there's an agenda behind all of this, and you also said that we're in a war. Do you think
there's 4 wars going on?
Yeah.
Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
You have Russia with Ukraine, and there's a lot of conflicts in the South America with the guerrillas. Why are people fleeing their countries? They're not safe, and everybody wants to come to the U.S. We received 173,000 people so far this year. Last year, 1.2 million people. In this government, more than 10,000 people, 10 million people have walked through those borders.
Wow.
This is an immigrant country, and immigrants can come legal here. This is a very generous country. If you come to work in the United States, if you come to give to the United States, there was a president that says, well, don't ask what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. John F. Kennedy, a Democrat. He said that, but he had principles and values that we are losing on a daily basis.
I agree with that. You said there's also 4 wars going on right now. Do you think there's a war that we can't see, like a spiritual war going on like in the country?
That has been since the Asian war. There is a spiritual war all the time. Okay? God created the earth. And one of his sons, his angels, was so pretty that he wanted to become God. So he was expelled. The war in Israel and Palestine is a religious war that started back when Abraham, okay, when Abraham had to have a child. He got desperate for not having Sarah give birth to his child. So she got desperate and she said, if you want a child, why don't you sleep with a maid so that she can bear the child for you. And the whole story started there, because after Sarah was very old, but she birthed Isaac, the first child of Abraham. Then they had fights. They had fights between the brothers, and this is what all about. It's what I understand from the Bible. Okay,
really interesting.
It's an spiritual war. Okay, the enemy, what they call the enemies, the Satan is very angry. Okay,
and I feel like more now than ever, and more
right.
people are turning away from God, and I mean that's why they're trying to go to for the kids. I guess, like in this country,
definitely.
That's why they're trying to attack the kids, because they're the foundation of our future. Yeah. And I think that's scary.
This country was based, the laws of this country were based on the Bible. Okay? We, the people of the United States, in order to form a better union, okay, do form the Constitution of the United States. And if you see them, they all came from the Bible. From the Bible. We have Christian principles. Look what happens in France by allowing the Muslims immigrate so much into France. It has flipped the religion of France to be Muslim when it used to be a Catholic religion. So you have to be very careful when you change. President Putin said, we are a nation that believes in this religion. And if you want to input another religion, stay in your country. That's what Putin said.
Wow.
So he has principles and values. He's a dictator. Some people, when they get to power, they get empowered, and they don't want to lose it. Okay, they go into politics or as politicians for their own agenda. They don't do it for the people, like this country was formed for. Okay.
Yeah, and that's a whole another conversation that we could go on talking for hours.
For hours.
But I want to go back to the fact that you ran twice. Now you're running for the third time.
Okay.
I want to ask you, I mean, there's plenty of people that go through life and sometimes they fail at something, whether that's a test. Let's say a boxer loses a fight, maybe they go down a rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Many people lose at life in certain situations, and they give up.
That's it.
Someone that's watching this, how can they be persistent like you to not give up and to go after their dreams? What would you tell to that person?
What would I tell to that person? Never give up. Never give up. If you are anything you focus in life, everything you focus in life, it's like the camera. When you focus, it expands. So focus in what you like and what you have passion for. And anything you have passion for, you are going to make it. You are going to make it happen. Okay? Persistence, when you have it as your passion, it becomes natural. What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. The first one, there were 3 of us. So the vote was divided. The second one, something fishy went on. And I complained. I contested. Okay? But unfortunately, the law doesn't help. So we have to review our electoral system in this nation. Okay? Because there's something behind the scenes. I don't know. This time, I'm more experienced because I went and I study inside the city. They have, like, the city provides how the city operates. So I went to all those courses for a whole year. And I learned how the government really works. When you become a politician, you start promising things that you are really probably don't have the jurisdiction or the power to change them unless you negotiate with others that together can change something. That's why they have a 5-member council. You cannot do it by yourself. If you propose something that is good and you have the other 3 negotiated to work and it's logical that will benefit the quality of life of a city, then others will follow. So it's a process of following the right choices, not promising sometimes what you cannot deliver, because you have to know how the jurisdiction is. Like, for instance, in Doral, we have a problem with traffic, huge problem with traffic. 82,000 people live in Doral. 113 come by here to work or go through the city to go to the other cities adjacent. So what happens? Our roads are too small to handle the overpopulated areas we have created. Doral has grown from being a 14,000 people city to 82,000, and the roads are the same. But you see what the problem is that nobody knows, or most of the people don't know, that there are county roads and state roads, that we have no jurisdiction to expand them or fix them. That is the Dade County, which is our main government in Miami-Dade, and the state of Florida. That's why they call them state roads. They're responsible to fix those roads or expand them. County roads are responsible to be expanded. What happened? What do we have to do as a city? We have special roads and small roads in special places, which we develop a land and we created an industrial park, okay? we are special. We have to take care of those roads because those are not county roads. County roads are main avenues or main streets, or state roads are as well. Okay, what happens is that we have to go out as elected officials and negotiate with the people that are responsible to make those roads wider and whatever. But they made huge mistakes because there's something called they forgot the recess between the street and the front door of a house or a building, because we want to become a urban city. You cannot have a urban city when you have no good transportation, public transportation. And people don't like to walk. There's 94 degrees outside in Miami. How could you walk with a suit like this in this city? Only my father used to do it.
I remember.
But, remember? It was just like that. It was just like that. So what happens? We need to change our traffic system, our transit system. Okay? They have trolleys. Very outdated. Some of them pollutionize our ambience, our environment, because they're old. They burn oil. There's technology. There's partnerships you can do with private companies like Tesla, Amazon. Have you seen the buses, the delivery trucks from Amazon? Yeah. They're gorgeous. Yeah. They're weird.
They look a little bit different. Scary. Huh? They look a little bit scary.
But they're different.
Yeah, they are.
And that makes the difference. Why do we have to follow things that don't work?
Yeah.
We have to make a difference. We have to become... When you brag about being a city that people could live, work, and play, you have to really do that. We can play a lot. We have 11 parks.
Yeah.
Okay? We have a lot of work because we are a business center. A lot of industries come here. One of the industries, what I've done for 45 years, the shipping industry, is one of the primary industries in Doral. That's why you see so many warehouses. Distribution, logistics, transportation. That's what I have done for the last 45 years. I started my first business in Doral when it wasn't a city in 1991. I started in the business when I was 18 years old with my dad, which owned a shipping company that used to come to the port of Miami from Venezuela. Wow. Then I was only 18 years old. And at the age of 24, in 1981, I became a business owner in the city of Doral, and I developed one of the largest consolidators from Miami to Latin America. And I'm very proud of that. A lot of people, I generated a lot of jobs. Yeah. And that's what we have to do. We have to protect the business people. There are money that is being wasted somewhere that is wasted. There are money that could be invested. As a business owner, if you get a grant of $1,000, you have a good month. It's a better month than the last month that you didn't have $1,000.
For sure.
And there's some money being wasted that you can give programs to the old people, to the kids, grants, student grants. Yeah. Okay. Old people are retired. They're eating their retirement money only to pay for taxes and condominium thing because they paid the house. Some of them, if they have not done a reverse mortgage, or if they have not made a loan on top of their house because they have no money to survive and they're living out of their equity, okay? All they do with their retirement money is to pay taxes and things. We have to give them a break. Why should an old person, a grandfather, that his grandchildren are already married, still paying for school, public schools, in near their area? I don't believe that's right. I mean, there is tax credit that we can give. There are programs that we can investigate to help these old people that have no other resources.
For sure. You mentioned that you went to all these classes and courses provided by the city, and certainly that's going to give you an advantage.
Yes.
What else do you think will give you an advantage to this upcoming election? What are you going to do differently to win this year?
Well, people are living emotional problems, okay? I'm going to come with a lot of suggestions. First of all, I'm going to go to work, okay? This is a part-time job that you only go supposedly one time a month to see what the laws are being proposed and things, because you don't run the city. I'm going to be a very active councilman. Why? Because that's the only way that you can change a city. You cannot leave it up to the manager, okay, or the people that work for the city. Doral has the worst reputation to help businesses start with permitting. You know, if you buy a place, if you rent a place and you want to build a nice restaurant, the owner of the property may give you 6 months for you to fix your place and build and start in 6 months while you're fixing it. I have heard from people that are a year and a half waiting for a permit to start their own business, and they're paying $25,000 of rent. Hello, you already started with over $250,000 worth of losses. So we have to go in there and fix it. Why did I went to these courses? Okay, because I got knowledge about it. Okay, negotiation between governments and individuals, politicians, is the key to harmony and working together. I am a I'm an expert negotiator. So when you go negotiate with the people that are there and what are others that are supposed to be responsible for something you need to do in this city, including our government, our state government. I'm going to go see our governor, of course, because he's got advisors, and today something came out like art. He's trying to limit art in this state. Art is part of life.
Yeah.
So somebody was advising him wrongly. Okay, I have people in the art business. My son Julio is in the art business. It's an industry that creates emotions. It's an industry that clears your pressure. I mean, your day, your stress all the time. What do? Let me turn on the TV. Don't turn on news TV, but you watch a nice movie.
Yeah.
Okay, or you go to the movies. That's art. You go to a museum. That's art. That's what we have to do.
A couple of minutes ago, you mentioned your business, that it was one of the biggest in Doral, and it was considered like a logistics company, right?
It's a logistic company.
So what motivated you? I don't know what your first business was, but what do you think motivated you to start your entrepreneurial journey and to be your own boss and to create something for yourself?
Entrepreneurs, it's in every soul ever made. When you have an idea, you become an entrepreneur. Putting it to work. You know, I started my first business with $500, my last paycheck.
What was it?
It was the logistic business.
The one that grew.
The one that grew. That was the first, let's call it serious business. I had a small courier, okay, before the mail was very bad. So we used to, I used to move paperwork for the logistic companies because everything was paper back then. Now, everything is digital. So business trends, you have to know as an entrepreneur when the trends of a trade goes and changes. I saw it coming, and I sold my company before I saw it coming. If not, it would have been a disaster. So entrepreneurs have to be on top of what the industry is going through, number one. For them, for example, I started the business in 1991, and I specialized in one country, Venezuela, where I had offices in 3 major ports. All I dedicated myself was to get cargo from my competitors that could not fill a big container. And between all of them, I filled multiple containers. That's what consolidation is all about. Then we started another country. Then we started another port, another office. We went to New York. We had an office in Houston. We had an office in Dominican Republic. We had 7 offices in Venezuela. And the industry was at its peak when new regulation, governmental regulations came along. They wanted to deregulate is the word. Deregulate the industry. Regulations are good because it creates fair competition. Why fair competition? Because people that are regulated have to comply with some rules for the game you are going to be an entrepreneur for.
Yeah.
And in the shipping industry, it's an international industry. It's a global industry, okay? You cannot just become a pirate and open up a business without a license.
Yeah.
So they wanted to deregulate it. What happens? A lot of mergers and acquisitions, okay, of smaller companies were bought by bigger companies. And my clients were mid-sized companies. They started selling to each other and companies were buying small companies, so they generated all this freight, so they didn't need me. And I saw it coming. And I said, let me sell this before this industry goes different ways. It's like the industry for the newspaper industry. Okay,
It's a shrinking
everything
market.
have you seen? When I came to this country, the Miami Herald on a Sunday, you had to carry it with a hand truck. It was this thick.
Wow.
That's how big. Go to buy the Miami Herald on Sunday.
It's a shrinking
It's
market.
it's a three-page newspaper.
Yeah.
Social media wasn't back then. Everything is now through social media, electronic catalogs. Okay, look at this. We're having a conversation. Thousands of people will see. When did I have that? I didn't own a TV. You didn't own a TV station. You see the industry. You're in the right track. This is the future of communication. TVs are losing money. Telemundo and Univision fired 200 people in Miami-Dade. 200 people, 200 families.
Yeah.
Why? Because they see it coming.
That is so important to be aware of trends that are going on in your industry, and that's something that in my previous podcast with an attorney, Amanda.
Oh, I know Amanda. She's a client of one of my businesses.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Very nice lady.
So
Very
that's
nice. Congratulations on that. You're having good people
Thank
there.
you. It's coming out today, by the way.
Okay.
So that's also something that she mentioned, that you have to be aware of trends going on in your industry. So that's something very important, something very valuable for any business owner or aspiring business owner that's watching this.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, aside from trends, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a business owner? If it's only one thing that you could tell to a business owner starting out in any industry, what would you tell them?
Take the risk. You have to become a risk man. Obviously, measure your risk, but take the risk. If you don't risk something, it's very hard to achieve it sometimes. For instance, I had $500, my last paycheck, in 1991, when I started Universal Freightways. And it cost me $400 to establish the company.
Wow.
And I had to pay rent. I had to pay, my dues. I said, I took the risk because I wanted to become illegal. Then later, my first cargo generated a profit that I got my license because I wanted to be a legal company. So obey the rules, take the risk, measure your risk, and have passion for what you do. Those are 4 things I can do. If you want one that will really break it, have passion for what you do. That will be the only ingredient that you will succeed. If you like what you do, you will do it very well. If you don't like what you do it because, and then you get tired of it. No. You see, it is a passion for me to become a console man. Why? Because I like to help people. For years, I have served in nonprofit organizations as part of my community service back to what I was a wealthy man. Okay? I gave back. How? Being in churches, helping people be people. And that is part of life. You have to become a volunteer. Look how the Miami-Dade County public school systems. The seniors have to have X amount of hours of public work or volunteer hours so that they become contact with the world before they go out of high school. Okay? And they become interns or they volunteer for specific things. That is opening your mind. McDonald's is the first company that helps the mind of a young kid to become an entrepreneur, flipping burgers and frying French fries. My first job was in Burger King at the age of 14. $2.10 an hour. But I made it because I lived with my parents.
Yeah.
I made enough to buy a motorcycle because I couldn't buy a car, but I bought a motorcycle. You see? Then I liked it so much, I would have made Burger King my career because I like the food industry. Okay? At the age of 16, I became the youngest assistant manager in a Burger King in the Florida state, the state of Florida. That gave me knowledge of how to handle people. When you become an entrepreneur, you can't do it by yourself unless you sell, something very limited. But when you put up a store or a business, a restaurant, an office, and you have to deal with humans and people, you have to learn how to handle people. And you learn that through early stages. You have to be a people person.
Yeah.
Barbra Streisand was my favorite singer. is my favorite scene, and she's still alive. But it's people who leave people are the luckiest people in the world. And that's what we do. We have to communicate. God was love, and love our people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you as a 14-year-old, you started working at Burger King. You were making $2 an hour.
$2.10.
That just shows what inflation does.
Oh.
Now,
$18 an hour today. $15 an hour
yeah.
in Florida is going to get there. Right now, people make $8. How could you live in a country, in a city, where rents, one-bedroom apartment in the city of Doral is $2,400?
Yeah. And I mean, that salary, that's
Do you know that back in the old days, there was a saying that says you can only pay in rent what you make a week. Now, you name so many people, young, going out of high school, how much money, how many people do you think they can make $2,400 a week to live like a normal person?
Yeah.
So that statistic was changed recently. Okay. Now they call it 33% of your income should be going to rent.
Wow.
That's a lie. It's not, because it's more.
Yeah.
You need 33%. And if you pay $3,300 worth of rent, you need to make 10 grand, Papa. It's simple.
For sure.
So inflation, very much.
Now, I wanted to relate that to the fact that a couple of years after that, I mean, many years after that, you started your business with $500. Okay. That $500 does not compare to $500 today. It was probably a little bit more.
Yes.
But my question is, what did those $500 turn into? Like, what was your highest revenue year in your business?
1997. 6 years later, we were a $10 million company in revenues, in sales.
6 years later.
6 years later. Persistence, knowledge, dealing with the right people.
Taking a small risk, like you said.
And risky. Oh, my God. I remember I used to, I didn't have a warehouse at the beginning. I remember I went to a friend of mine, which was a client that had a warehouse. I said, can I help you? By you helping me, I'm going to load my containers here. And when I outgrow, I will move. I remember I outgrew it immediately because we had relationship. My company, my father was known in the industry. That's another one. Is a cat sons chases a mice.
Yeah.
It's what you do, what you learn in your young age when you were raised. Okay. What happened is that my father taught me the business as an employee, and he taught me from the bottom. So don't be afraid of learning the real thing. Start in the mailroom so you know where the mail goes. So one day, Joe don't come to work and he's in the mailroom, you can go to the mailroom and do the job. Joe didn't do it. And your company doesn't shake. That's one thing. Learn every position. If they put you to flip fries, tell them, I want to learn how to make hamburgers. Because probably the guy in the hamburgers make more money than the fryers. So when you learn and the guy calls in sick one day and you learn and you did a good job, that's how you get promoted.
Yeah.
A good manager, a good supervisor will not make you a good manager. Maybe some people are limited to become a supervisor. Some people don't become a supervisor even. And you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, have to identify those people. You can see them in their spirit. What can I do? How can I do? I'm done with this. What else? What else do I do? That's how you grow a business. And let me tell you, dealing with the right individuals, partnership with the right companies, okay? Reliability in the services you provided. You see, it's very easy when you sell phones because this is a tangible thing. And people touch it and they like it and they buy it. But when you sell service, it's become harder. Insurance. You have to blow your brains off selling it. But you know how it becomes a tangible? After they give you the try, they give you the shipment, you deliver. In the time you said, in the rate that you gave them, and nobody overcharged them on the other side. That's how you grow a business. And that's how my business grew. Honesty, reliability, and persistent. I can give you all the words in the world. Okay? But they're all motivated people. Okay?
Those three things are so valuable for...
I'm telling you it is. There are so many things. People say in my career as a politician or as an activist politician, I call it a community servant. Okay, and servant is not a bad. It's not a. It's not a derogating word. As a matter of fact, it's a very. Jesus came to serve the people, and he washed the feet of his disciple. He was the servant back then.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me, why are you so interested in helping the old people and the young people? Well, number one, the young people have to be protected and taken out of risk that they don't know. They have to be trained. And old people is because I'm going there. I'm going to become an old person one day. I already was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say I had a perfect childhood. I had a good childhood. I come from a big family, as you know, 8 brothers and sisters. I'm the middle one, right in the middle. I'm number 5, and my sister's number 4, Margie. And let me tell you, we are like the sandwich of a big family, because we learned from the old and the young.
Yeah.
Okay, and we lived a healthy life. No drugs, no nothing. I mean, we have a nice family nowadays. I've been married for 30 years with the same woman. And she still talks to me. Yep, 30 years. Okay, 4 children, 3 grandchildren. I'm going over there. I haven't worried about the world. We are seeing. People have to really wake up and say, hey, there's something going on. There's an agenda. Is it either spiritual, political, or economical? Economy, inflation is amazing. Amazing. I love honey maple turkey from Boar's Head. 2 years ago, $8.99 a pound. 2 years ago. You mentioned $2.10 back then, which was a lot of money.
And many more years ago.
Many years ago. I'm talking 45 years ago. Okay? 2 years ago, the honey maple turkey used to be at $8.99 in Publix. Go buy it now, $14.99. Where is this inflation? This government is saying that is at 4%, 3%.
Impossible.
Sorry, where do they buy so I can go buy? I like to go buy their turkey at $8.99 or maybe at $9.25 because it's only 4%. But that's a lie.
Yeah, it is.
We are a country that is too much taxed, and only the dumb pay the tax. And the rich people know the way around. Sorry.
For sure.
We have to become a country of making ourselves. Maybe we don't have the people, then give immigration, do industrial parks in rural cities like Oklahoma, where nobody wants to live. Build factories. Put people to work. Make this country fabricate things like they did. All our companies left to China. So they became the world's factory. And we became the biggest client. So all we do, our money is reselling. If we start building in America like Ronald Reagan used to do. Ronald Reagan was a hell of a president. He faced the worst crisis in an industry that today is one of the biggest ones. The automobile industry. Chrysler Corporation filed bankruptcy and almost millions of employees, thousands of employees were out of job. And the president of Chrysler, Lee Iacocca, asked the government for $500 million. And Reagan gave it to him. He saved the industry. Years later, Chrysler bought Mercedes-Benz.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes.
$500 million is a lot of money.
$500 million.
Especially back then.
Back then. This was probably 1976. I'm telling you. Innovation, fine. The camera, Kodak, film, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. Everything is digital now. Yeah. So that industry, Trent, nobody saw it coming.
Talk about trends.
Talk about Trent, Blockbuster, the video store.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many stores.
And it was very famous.
Very famous, a potential thing. A lot of people lost a lot of money. Why? Because they didn't see the trend changing.
They didn't see the trends.
Netflix, everybody watches Netflix. The industry, the film industry, goes through Netflix before it goes to, or Amazon Films before it goes to Hollywood anymore. You were talking about trends?
Yeah. And those trends are something that you have a lot of time to analyze and to foresee from happening. Juan Carlos, you mentioned your family. You're a middle child.
Yeah.
I know your family very well. And I know that your father was a huge father figure for you and just a figure overall.
Yes.
I want to know one thing that your father taught you and something that a lesson that he left you with, the most valuable of them all. I know he probably gave you a lesson every day, but just give me one that really sticks with you and that's the main one that's always on your head.
One principle that my father, because it's a principle, it's a lesson because it comes from a principle: honesty. Be honest, including to yourself. Don't fool yourself. You have to be honest. Honest with everything you do. Deliver what you promise. Don't promise what you can't deliver. Okay? My father always said that. Be honest. My father didn't leave me millions, not even hundreds, but he lived a perfect life, helping people. Okay? And, they gave him an avenue here. Why? Because he impacted society. What people do to impact society, then later be recognized. Do you know that there are parts of the government that, they will give a school to an ex-mayor or whatever, and the guy's alive? That's not the way it used to be. The way it used to be is that what did you do to impact society, the world, then we're going to recognize you. Then we're going to honor you. Okay? When you're talking about honor, the veterans of the United States have to be honored because they have fought for the freedom, and they will continue to fight for the freedom we currently have. Very thin line, but we still have freedom. Honesty is the word I can give anybody as a son. Always tell, don't lie to me. I told my kids, don't lie to me. I can read it in your eyes. My father used to be the same.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're not honest, one of the biggest and most important things is on the line and is at risk, which is your reputation.
That's it.
It's one of the things that matter most. Connecting your reputation. I mean, if you have a bad reputation, it's impossible to have a network, and you certainly have a very strong network, and you know a lot of influential people, a lot of wealthy people, and you're well connected. To someone that's watching this that maybe doesn't have a network, doesn't even have friends, what would you recommend to them so that they can grow a network and have a great network of people?
Become a volunteer so you develop friendship and they see your values. When you do things free and people evaluate how you are, okay? If you do it for money, fine. There are volunteers, paid volunteers. But show the people your capacity, okay? And show the people that you're not only interested in the money behind the things. That way you build relationship. Rich people talk to a lot of people. And later when they made the money, they had to go apart because, so most of them, rich people go to different places, okay? I love Burger King. Maybe I'm not destined to become a rich man. I don't think so because I'm rich in many ways, okay? I'm rich in values. I'm rich in having a great family. I mean, having a family that are not related to problems, jail, drastic things. I mean, life goes on a daily basis, and you have to become an honest person. Honesty is the word that will get you relationships, okay? Build relationships based on trust. That's another word.
Yeah.
If they don't trust you, they're not going to give you a chance. And there's only one chance in life for trust. If you mistrust people, okay, because they did something to you, how hard it is for you to really trust them again, you will have to see. Only family, brothers. And let me tell you, it hasn't been that easy for me, okay, in the business world. I was betrayed by partners. I was betrayed by employees. And yet, I'm here. 70 veces, voy a verlo, ahorita te lo traduzco. 70 veces cae el justo. No, 7 veces cae el justo y 70 veces se puede levantar. 7 times the just person can fall and 70 times he can get up. Imagine. Don't lose faith on anything you do. Wake up every day with a new vision, with a new thing. What am I going to do today different than I did yesterday? Do you know that if you don't change the routes of your life, if you continue your same trend, you're going to get to the same destination all the same time? So you have to be risky. Should I go this way? Should I go that way? Risk will take you to a different trend that will take you to a different destination than where you are right now. And destination means different jobs, different money, a different city. Sometimes people get clocked in a city because their family are around. Maybe the opportunity is in Dubai. Take the risk. I know a lot of kids that have left hired by companies that require youth and knowledge, energy. Okay? Take care of your health. That's another one.
I hadn't heard that saying of the just man.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard it before.
Oh, you have to.
But it kind of relates to the parable of when one of Jesus' disciples asked him how many times you should forgive a man, and then he says 7 times 77.
Exactly.
So I mean, if you're just, you also need to forgive people.
Oh yeah.
So
the only judge is God,
and
He's not there with a whip. He's not there with a whip. God is a God of love.
Yes.
Okay? When you are not just, all He does is this. Turns and looks and helps somebody else.
Juan Carlos, what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Wow, that's a big one. Legacy. What my father did was left a legacy. And a good last name.
So how are you going to match that or try to surpass that?
I hope to do it. It's hard because my father had big standards. You know what a standard is? Well, in the old days, the armies used to carry a standard, un estandarte, which is, it used to have a message. But it wasn't for the enemy to see. The standard, the message was facing the back, the soldiers, so they can follow the standards of how they were going to win the war. Okay? My father had big standards. He always stretched that line. He said, okay, I did this, now I want to do this. So legacy becomes that. I have done a lot of things in my life. And there's a joke about it, but I don't want to say it in this podcast.
What is it?
I have done everything in life from flipping burgers. The only thing I haven't done is to dance on a strip joint. But don't be afraid of doing anything, and don't take all the risks that you want. The legacy will come if you're an honest man, if you're a trustworthy person. That's what it will be.
Wow. My last question to you is,
okay,
what does success mean to you?
Success is waking up every morning. You beat the death. You got up. So success is going to bed with a meal. Success is not having $10 million in the bank account. What are you going to do with it? You're not going to spend it in your lifetime. Somebody else will join it.
You're going to run out of things to buy.
Right? You know, I have seen families that have a lot of money, and when the parents died, brothers don't speak to each other. Money's good. But success, you have to achieve it. Achieve it by waking up every morning and doing something that you like. Then what you do it with passion, it becomes a success. I'm going to succeed as a councilman, and I'm going to win this election. I am focusing on this election. And I get up every morning, and I thank God I'm alive, and I say, what's in it for me today? What do you want me to do today? It's hard because day-to-day things take you on focus. Crisis, money, how am I going to pay the rent? All those things become a barriers in your life, and you lose faith, you lose patience. Okay, don't ask God for patience. He gives you what should I call it? Don't ask God for faith, because he will give you trouble to test you, to see how you handle it. Ask God for mercy, because then he's going to say he's trying. No father will beat his son because he brought an A. He won't beat him either if he brought an F. Teach him. You have to become a decent person, a great parent. Good families, good parenthood that you had will make you a good father. Learn from your fathers. We have to learn from our elders. They're wise. The Bible calls them wise people. Why? Because they have wisdom. They have gone through the same thing. Some young people don't want to listen, and that's how they make mistakes, and that's how they get in trouble, and that's why they don't have success. Success every time you get up in the morning.
Wow.
Okay.
It's very powerful. Juan Carlos, thank you very much for coming on the show.
I'm very proud of you. I'd like to tell you personally in your podcast, I'm very proud of what you have become. I mean, I held you in my hands when you were a baby, and you have become a wise man, a bright kid, and you have a hell of a future in front of you. Focus. And learn from your own podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. And I wish you the absolute best. I know God will be with you this race, and I know you will be the Doral City Council.
I have a gift for you so you can go to the gym.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to get lost with this one.
No. At least you can cross the streets. Okay? Thank you. I'm running for city government, seat number 3 in the city of Doral.
Make sure you vote for him.
November 5th. Thank you for this time. And thank you for your time. Okay, I have to go to another interview.